We are anonymous. No faces, no flags, no permission slips. We exist where power assumes silence, where arrogance mistakes itself for strength, and where collapse always shows its face before it admits its name. And what you're about to hear is not spin, not parody, not exaggeration. It is the sound of a plan imploding so violently that even its architect can no longer pretend it's working. Donald Trump has spent the last 24 hours unraveling in public. Not slowly, not subtly. This was a full psychological break playing out on camera, on social media, and across international headlines. A meltdown so raw that foreign broadcasters literally had to translate his incoherent noises into something resembling language. A humiliation so complete that even his own allies could not disguise their confusion. Look at the footage from the GOP retreat at the Kennedy Center, a national cultural institution Trump illegally rebranded as the Trump Kennedy Center, as if laws and history are optional suggestions. Watch his hands, the twitching, the erratic gestures, the strange sounds, the frozen, bronzed mask of his face barely hiding panic. This wasn't confidence. This wasn't leadership. This was a man watching his own fantasy collapse in real time. International media didn't know what to do with it. Anchors paused. Translators hesitated. Commentators openly mocked what they were seeing. One outlet described it as utter humiliation. And they were right. Because when power collapses, it doesn't whisper. It leaks. It sweats. It spasms on stage. Then, as if on cue, Trump fled to social media in the middle of the night, announcing a fantasy decree that would be laughable if it weren't so dangerous. He claimed that interim authorities in Venezuela would hand over between 30 and 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil to the United States. He said it would be sold at market price. He said the money would be controlled by him personally as president. He said he ordered Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute it immediately. Storage ships, U.S. docks. End of story. Except none of it is real. He does not have the authority to control that money. Not constitutionally, not legally, not politically. Even MAGA Mike Johnson and Senate Republicans, who openly ignore their own roles, cannot magically grant a president personal control over billions of dollars. 30 to 50 million barrels is barely a day, and a half of U.S. oil consumption, valued at roughly $2 to $3 billion. And the oil industry itself has no idea what Trump is talking about. That's not speculation. That's reporting. Oil executives say they have not been contacted. They have not agreed to anything. They have no interest in making massive capital expenditures in Venezuela. They don't need to. They don't want to. And they certainly don't trust a president who announces billion-dollar plans via late-night meltdown posts. As journalist Anna Kramer reported, experts are baffled. The industry is confused. Trump is out on a limb alone. Venezuelan oil is heavy, sticky, expensive to refine, and requires an estimated $100 billion in investment to make profitable. The same big, beautiful oil companies Trump brags about have zero interest in throwing money into a political disaster zone. So what does Trump do when reality says no? He reaches for your wallet. He begins floating the idea that U.S. taxpayers will subsidize oil companies to the tune of $100 billion, while ripping away health care, while refusing to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies, while cutting programs that actually help Americans survive. His solution is simple: make the public eat the losses so corporations don't have to. And at the same time, he's handing out tens of billions to Argentina. And then, without shame, without irony, he announces he's revoking $10 billion in childcare services from blue states like New York, California, Minnesota, and Colorado. Childcare. There is a pattern here. Children are always the first targets. Starve the programs, cut the services, use families as leverage, and quietly bury the Epstein files while everyone is distracted. Even the QAnon shaman has walked away. Yes, that QAnon shaman. The man MAGA once paraded as a symbol now says he's done. He openly admits that Trump's refusal to release the Epstein client list was the breaking point. When you lose the QAnon shaman, you're not holding a movement together. You're watching it rot. International media continues to document the spectacle. Trump moaning, making strange noises, rambling. Meanwhile, his own White House rapid response account descends into juvenile harassment, posting AI-generated videos attacking Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, calling him low IQ, tampon Tim, mocking daycare. This is official government behavior. This is not satire. This is not parody. This is what happens when adults abandon responsibility and replace it with cruelty. Then comes the lie that defines them all. On the official White House website, Trump's team publishes a fabricated timeline of January 6th. They blame Capitol Police. They claim officers escalated tensions. They describe peaceful protesters injured by law enforcement. They portray Trump as a calm leader urging peace at 2:24 p.m. We all saw what actually happened. At 2:24 p.m. on January 6th, Trump was attacking Mike Pence for not overturning the election. He was inflaming the mob. He was pouring gasoline on a fire already burning. And now, in full authoritarian fashion, the administration rewrites history on official government platforms, while refusing to even hang the legally required plaque, honoring the officers who defended the Capitol. If Trump will lie about this, he will lie about everything. And he does. Venezuela becomes the next distraction. Oil is the cover story. Epstein is the motive. And the result is catastrophe. After Maduro's removal, Trump props up a successor regime led by Delcy Rodriguez, an authoritarian aligned with Russia, Iran, and China. Instead of democracy, Venezuela descends into repression. Paramilitaries roam the streets. Phones are seized at checkpoints. Journalists are detained. People disappear for expressing support for the United States. The Washington Post reports fear gripping Caracas. Armed men scroll through citizens' messages. Gangs enforce loyalty. Opposition vanishes. And while MAGA commentators claim Venezuelans are cheering freedom, the reality is mass pro-regime demonstrations fueled by terror. At least 75 people were killed during the U.S. raid. Most were Cuban guards, others civilians. 7 American soldiers were injured. This is the cost of distraction politics. Meanwhile, Trump's chief propagandist releases a statement openly threatening Greenland. Military force is described as always an option. Denmark holds emergency parliamentary meetings. Canada's Prime Minister rushes to support Greenland's sovereignty, and the world watches as Trump threatens yet another ally. All of it serves one purpose: noise, chaos, cover. Because the Epstein files remain sealed, Republican Congressman Thomas Massie confirms what everyone suspects. Deadlines missed, documents redacted illegally, privacy excuses misused to hide embarrassment, laws ignored, internal decisions withheld in direct violation of statute. This is not incompetence, it's obstruction. Trump's plan is an utter failure, militarily, economically, politically, psychologically. And now the mask has slipped so far that even his most extreme supporters are walking away. This is what collapse looks like. Not with a bang, with a tantrum. We are anonymous. We are not here to tell you what to think. We are here to show you what power looks like when it loses control of its own lies. If you're watching this, don't look away. Share it. Question it. Demand accountability. And remember, systems don't fall because people speak. They fall because people stay silent. Choose wisely.